Welcome. We have Doug Radi from Good Karma Foods, who radiates good karma in all the food that he sells. Welcome, Doug, to the episode of What is a Conscious Brand?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. We're really excited to be here. The guests have been amazing. The discussions are really inspiring, so just glad to be part of it.
Yeah, right on. So tell me a little bit about Good Karma Foods.
Yeah, so Good Karma Foods is a 6-year-old plant-based dairy brand focused on making really delicious dairy alternatives that are nutrition packed. Mainly today we make flax milk, so a milk alternative, and flax yogurt. We love the flaxseed because it's one of the best sources of plant-based omega-3s out there, and we're not getting enough omega-3s in our diets in general, so it's a great kind of additive nutritional benefit for generally the North American diet. So we're excited to be part of that. It's allergen friendly, which is awesome, in particular when nuts and soy are such big allergen issues, even within the plant-based dairy category. And lastly, a nice environmental footprint relative to nuts and soy as well. So kind of have a nice trifecta of things that we like about flax and how we participate in the plant-based dairy category. But most importantly, our brand name, Good Karma Foods, we're a team and a company of individuals that really believe in this golden rule that tiny but mighty actions have this positive rippling effect in our lives and in our communities, in our world. And so we're all committed to that as a company, as a team, as individuals. And, at the end of the day, especially in this day and age with such snarky sort of cultural, behavioral norms starting to be formed, I mean, we live in a world where we need more goodness. So that's sort of our mission and what inspires us every day to come to work.
Right on. Yeah, and I've heard the story of how Good Karma Foods came to be, and really excited to have you on to talk about the big question of what is a conscious brand.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's sort of like the conscious person, conscious brands. I mean, it's people and companies that want to do the right thing and think about, to use a corporate cliche, but think about all our stakeholders when we make decisions. Not just one. So really just thinking about what are the values that drive us to do the right thing, and then how do we push and integrate those values into how we operate as a team and a culture and a company. Stephen Covey's got this concept of emotional bank account, and it generally is between individuals, but I actually think it relates to conscious brands as well. And the whole concept is you can be taking withdrawals from people's emotional bank account or making deposits. And if you're a conscious brand, you're always thinking about making deposits before withdrawals. I'm not saying that you never take a withdrawal, because sometimes, you have to make tough decisions in business and in life, but ones that are constantly thinking about being a positive, depositor to society and to community and culture versus one that takes, all actions count, big and small, so we always preach in our company that small, meaningful things, small, acts of kindness can have a really meaningful difference, whether that's in decisions we make in our personal lives or business. And lastly, we talk about conscious brands. We talk about it as a company. You're never sort of good enough. So never stop improving. There's got to be this forward momentum in how you operate and think consciously about your stakeholders to continue to build relationships, build partnerships, improve consumers' lives, improve the environment. And so this notion of forward momentum has to be part of it for us as well. That, and I always joke, there's a hold applause sign in my office, like the old studio signs, and it's always lit. Because, hey, great, we're doing some good things, but hey, listen, we could be even better tomorrow, so never stop improving. That's kind of the last concept that we think about.
That's awesome. I love that idea of, there is celebration, but it's not celebration of an endpoint. It's celebration of that.
Absolutely.
That next iteration. And, for us, I think one of the things that we talk about with a higher brand or a conscious brand is it does have that higher purpose.
Right.
And if that higher purpose isn't audacious enough, you achieve it too quickly. So really moving forward towards that. And with that, what are some of the largest or the biggest roadblocks that you face in becoming a conscious brand?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that I struggle with all the time is balancing the difficulties of running a small entrepreneurial company with the aspiration of wanting to be perfect and make this big impact, to your point. But it's always that balance. I think we're so passionate about wanting to get it right and to achieve that really lofty stretch goal. But, sometimes the realities of business and the challenges of, can you do all these things at once with a really small resource constrained team, and how do you focus on that? To me, that's one of the biggest challenges that kind of keeps me up at night as we think about it. Combined with maybe not having the perfect answer, that's where the real rub happens. So that's probably for me the most difficult part. I mean, the way we respond to it, again, forward momentum, always try to improve every day, figure things out. There's no roadmap on some of these things. You're inventing as you go. So
yeah, for sure. And I like that idea of progress over perfection.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
When we're dealing with systems of complexity, we really have, it's a different way of operating, because you have to probe the system, respond, sense into it and respond. And then it's repeat. It's not a silver bullet to the complexity of what we're working with. You used a couple interesting words. You used passion, enthusiasm, around what I'm going to say leadership of a conscious brand, because you are the leader of Good Karma Foods. What other sort of leadership do you think is required for a conscious brand?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always think about, am I walking the walk to the greatest degree that I can? I mean, at the end of the day, that if I, as one of the leaders of this team, am not sort of setting the example, I'm not really, I'm not going to be able to push our organization to achieve higher results. And then lastly, just building the team. I always say, when we interview new team members, I let the rest of the team say, hey, are they confident to do the job and all that kind of stuff. I spend almost 100% of my time thinking about cultural fit. And are they going to follow this? Do they have the same value systems we do? Do they have the same passion for improvement and being conscious about the decisions we make and setting the right example? I want the team to know that to take care of themselves, because if they're taking care of themselves in a conscious way, that enables them to take that same value and bring it to life in the company. So I think walking the walk and then really building your whole team around that has been something we've spent a lot of time on here.
Yeah, there's a couple of curious points there, and we've said this, I probably said it in other episodes, but just this idea that an organization can't be any more conscious than its leadership. And it sounds like, you are walking that walk. And, one of our guiding principles at Conscious Brands is how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're not taking those 2-hour breaks, or your employees take it and you don't take it, there's a little bit of disconnect and perhaps a little bit of guilt, and it really plays on that cultural side of it. What advice would you give a newer emerging conscious brand?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Just building on what you just said. I mean, listen, we don't get it right all the time. My advice is don't try to be perfect. The way I think about our scorecard is, if we're moving positively forward, no matter if it's one step or a large step or a small step, or maybe one step back to get 2 steps forward, I give us passing grades across the board. Try to not be super critical of yourself. Keep moving forward. Don't listen too much to the critics. Keep moving forward, and don't be perfect. Because if you continue to operate even in small increments, 6 months, a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to actually look behind you or look in the rearview mirror and go, holy crap, like we made up a ton of distance here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that idea of moving past predicting and controlling, and creating an environment. You didn't actually say this, but I'll put some words out there of, safe to fail. So one last question for you, Doug, is what action are you taking on your path to become a more conscious brand? Or what's one action that you could commit to?
Yeah, well, great question. We made a decision to convert to organic flax, and we're actually in the process of doing that right now. Our packaging will change this summer. Our organic flax oil is already in our processing plants, so we're actually converting it right now as we speak. And, it feels great to make big decisions like that. We know it's the right decision. We had to take a price increase. So, from a consumer standpoint or a marketing standpoint, not my favorite, topic as we take it out to retail, but it's the right decision. And I think consumers will reward us for making those right decisions. So, yeah, we'll be coming out with news here shortly on that, but we're excited about it. I think for our team, we all sort of looked at each other and said, hey, right on, team, kind of patted each other on the back and said we did the right thing, and now let's find the next one.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And, and it is the right thing. And sometimes the right thing does cost a little bit more. I'm not sure why that is, but the consumers that you're aligning with and their value set, they're going to see that, it's not double what it used to be, but they're actually supporting a better value and aligning themselves to those values of good karma. And I guess everyone's banking some good karma along the way. So.
And that's funny that you say that, because I always joke, it's hard to run a company called Good Karma and not do the right thing every day. I'm not going to attempt it. Let me just tell you that.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for being part of this. And we look forward to seeing Good Karma continuing to become a more conscious brand.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I really enjoyed all the conversations you're having. So keep up the great work.
Thanks. Ciao.
All right.